welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you are doing great, and today we are going to start with biochemistry, lipid metabolism, and the topic is hormone sensitive triacylglycerol lipase. I request you to watch this video right from the beginning till the end so that you understand this topic correctly. Okay, so starting with it, so there are mainly two types of regulations in this pathway. One is positive regulation and another is negative regulation. So we will not make things complicated over here, we will understand step by step. So starting with positive regulation. Okay, so glucagon, epinephrine, norepinephrine, they will, when the levels of glucagon, epinephrine and norepinephrine in the blood will rise, they will promote the activation of adenylate cyclase. Adenylate cyclase will convert ATP into cyclic AMP. Adenylate cyclase will convert ATP into cyclic AMP. This cyclic AMP will further activate cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase or protein kinase A. It is also known as pKa. As the name suggests, kinase, it will add phosphate group. Okay, so there is inactive hormone sensitive lipase, that is triacylglycerol lipase B. The protein kinase A will phosphorylate this lipase and this inactive hormone will be converted into active hormone. So you can see phosphate group over here and inactive hormone is getting converted into active hormone. So this is triacylglycerol lipase A. Okay, when the active hormone gets activated, the active hormone will trigger the breakdown of triacylglycerol into diacylglycerol. So when the breakdown of triacylglycerol to diacylglycerol occurs, there will be liberation of free fatty acids. Okay, then again this diacylglycerol will be acted upon by active lipase. Active lipase will break down this diacylglycerol into monoacylglycerol and free fatty acids will be liberated. This monoacylglycerol will be again acted upon by active lipase and this monoacylglycerol will be converted into glycerol. Now glycerol does not have acyl groups, so it will not get further broken down. Okay, now this glycerol can act as gluconeogenic substrate. So we will not discuss gluconeogenesis here in detail because it will complicate our things. Okay, so the point to remember is that glycerol can further act as a gluconeogenic substrate and it can form glucose by the process of gluconeogenesis. Okay, so and these fatty acids which are liberated, will enter beta oxidation. We will study beta oxidation in the next video. So these fatty acids will enter beta oxidation. In the beta oxidation, acetyl coenzyme A will be produced. This acetyl coenzyme A can be utilized in the Krebs cycle or TCA cycle. If there is no need of TCA cycle, this acetyl coenzyme A will be used in the formation of ketone bodies. If there is no need of TCA cycle, this acetyl coenzyme A will be utilized in the formation of ketone bodies. Okay, so the conversion of acetyl coenzyme A or the utilization of acetyl coenzyme A in either of these will depend on the physiological conditions. Okay, so we have seen the positive regulation part. Now if we draw the conclusion from this part, can we say that the increase in the glucagon, epinephrine and norepinephrine levels will also increase beta oxidation because this pathway is getting activated? So increase in glucagon, epinephrine and norepinephrine levels in the blood will result in increased beta oxidation and increased glucose levels in the blood. Okay, now we will see negative regulation part. So it is exactly opposite of this. Okay, rise in the insulin and niacin levels in the blood, they inhibit cyclic AMP formation. If cyclic AMP formation does not occur, if cyclic AMP formation does not occur, protein kinase A will not get activated. If this will not get activated, active hormone will not be produced. Okay, and even if it is activated, it can also convert, insulin can also convert active hormone into inactive hormone by simply removing of this phosphate group by the enzyme phosphatase. So as you can see here, insulin promotes the phosphatase, or this step, that is insulin promotes the removal of phosphate group from the active hormone to the inactive hormone, and I have shown liberation of inorganic phosphate over here. Okay, so if it is converting active hormone into inactive hormone, these steps will not occur, because these steps will occur only when the lipase is active, and insulin is converting the active hormone into inactive hormone, so these steps will not occur. Okay, so can we say that rise in the insulin and niacin levels in the blood, rise in the insulin and niacin levels in the blood will decrease beta oxidation or fatty acid breakdown or lipolysis, as well as it will also decrease glucose levels in the blood, because this pathway is not occurring, as a result of which glycerol will not be converted into glucose. Okay, and moreover, insulin can also convert cyclic AMP. Insulin can also promote the breakdown of cyclic AMP into 5' adenosine monophosphate. The enzyme catalyzing this reaction is phosphodiesterase or PDE. What it will do is, it will break the phosphodiester bond and it will convert the cyclic AMP into 5' adenosine monophosphate. Okay, so till now we have understood two important points: rise in the glucagon, epinephrine and norepinephrine levels in the blood results in increased beta oxidation, and rise in the glucose levels in the blood. Rise in the insulin and niacin levels in the blood will result in decreased beta oxidation and lowering of glucose levels in the blood. Okay, another important point, if we focus on the big picture over here, another important point is that low glucose levels are required for the beta oxidation to occur. Okay, so beta oxidation occurs when the blood glucose levels are low. Why? So when the blood glucose levels are low, it needs to be rise, it needs to increase. Okay, if blood glucose levels are low, it needs to rise. Glucagon hormone will occur, glucagon signaling will occur. When glucagon signaling will occur, this pathway will get activated. When this pathway will get activated, glucose will be produced from the glycerol and thus glucose levels will rise. But can you see that when the glucose levels are getting elevated, beta oxidation is also going to occur. So due to low blood glucose levels, when it needs to rise, this pathway will get activated, and when this pathway will get activated, blood glucose levels will rise as well as beta oxidation will also occur. Okay, so we can say that low blood glucose levels is needed for the beta oxidation to occur. Okay, whereas higher blood glucose levels are not required for the beta oxidation to occur. Why? Because if blood glucose levels are in the blood are elevated, okay, if the blood glucose levels in the blood are elevated, insulin signaling will occur. When insulin signaling will occur, why insulin signaling will occur? Because the role of insulin is to decrease the blood glucose levels in blood. Okay, so to suppress or to reduce the blood glucose levels in the blood, insulin signaling will occur, and when insulin signaling will occur, this pathway will not occur, due to which glucose will not form from the glycerol and beta oxidation also decreases. So there are 2 points to conclude. There are 2 important points. When low blood when low blood glucose, when the levels of blood glucose is low, it is the condition for the beta oxidation to occur. Whereas when the blood glucose levels are high, insulin signaling will occur, this pathway will not occur, blood glucose levels will reduce, beta oxidation reduces. Okay, so higher blood glucose levels promotes beta oxidation, lower blood glucose levels promote beta oxidation, higher blood glucose levels does not promote beta oxidation. So these four important points you need to remember. Okay, so this was all about this pathway. In the next video we will start with the most important topic, that is beta oxidation. We will understand steps one by one into detail. Okay, I will also be adding one practice question for you in the description of the video, and the solution of it will be added in the description of the next video or upcoming video. Okay, so if you found this helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment if you have any doubt. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get notified when my next video gets uploaded. Share this video with as many people as you can so that maximum people can get benefit from this video. Okay, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.